Morning, welcome to the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Okay, I'm gonna take some coffee. I hope you guys had a really good weekend. Mondays are always great for me because I get to have a meeting with the Mela Lifestyle team and just go over what we're doing for the week, what's on the horizon, and it's just always like really good stuff. So welcome if you're new here, if you're just joining us this week. My name is Camila Tibbetts. This is the Journey of the Mela Lifestyle, and what it is mornings, madness, and meditations. And how this originally started was that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've launched and scaled several brands in the past, and my new brand website that I just recently launched last month is Mela Lifestyle. It's MELA Lifestyle. And what it is, it's a lifestyle community that we're building and website, and we have products that I've curated around like beauty, wellness, home, style. And the whole idea behind how we originally started was just I really want to take you guys behind the veil, right? I wanted to show you like what it's like to launch a brand, to launch your website, like all the things that happens, because I think a lot of times as founders or entrepreneurs or whoever you look to in that space, you always see the person like when they're on the mountain, right? Like you don't see like the valleys, the moments, like the frustration. So originally this started up until launch of Mela Lifestyle, the website, but the feedback I got from you was just so encouraging, and you guys really want to continue these meditations. So basically what it looks like is like every day we come together during the week and I share 2 meditations with you. I let you know like what's going on with the brand, where we're at, what's going on with me, and hopefully like by me being transparent with you and being accountable to you, because I feel like we all need accountability in our lives, even when we're high in leadership or when we're in spaces where we're giving direction. And so I get to show up every morning and be accountable to you, and hopefully there's a seed that's planted or there's a meditation that you take with you throughout the day. So Monday morning is great. You know, I meet with my social media manager who's amazing, and I was sharing with her that I was texting someone and saying how like I just do sometimes, I'm kind of scrappy and I just go with the moment, and she lets me know how things land. So we go over analytics and what's going on. And so I don't know if you saw last week, every Saturday we do it in the kitchen with Camila series where I do a recipe. So we talked about the apple tart recipe. If you haven't seen it, it's still on at Mela Lifestyle's IGTV. You can see it there. And this week I'm doing a peppermint bark. I'm doing a peppermint bark recipe. Can you see it? Is there a glare? But here's the challenge with me doing a recipe around peppermint bark is that I keep eating the peppermint bark. So that's the problem. But I'm really excited this week. We'll do a recipe. We'll do like a peppermint affogato. We'll do these rocky ledge bars with peppermint bark, and I think a chocolate peppermint martini. So there's about 3 recipes that'll come out this Saturday. So look for that. And just really thinking about what the weekend is and what's going on. And so that's where we're at. So last week we did a series, and I got a lot of great feedback. You guys like doing a series, and for me, I'm always like, well, what's our series gonna be about? And so this week I thought, I'm really about how we're ending the year strong. What is your story? Like, how are we gonna close the year to set us up for like a launch and a platform going into 2021? Because I believe that although we've had some challenges, like there's some things that have come up to us where we were stronger than we thought. So this is how I want us to end the year here as a community. So our series this week is called The Expression. And I'm a word girl, and I like to give you guys definitions just so you know things and like break it down and make it plain, as I like to say. So when I say like the expression, what do I mean by expression? So expression is really when you set things forth with words, right? Or a manner of a form or thing of how things are expressed, like to express yourself. So I wanted to make this series and title this series this week called The Expression, which is like how we're going to express ourselves and our meditations of how we're going to express ourselves going into the new year, right? And so if you think about the words that are used to express yourself, like what's key in the words that we use or how we talk to ourselves is that those words are powerful, they're alive, they're full of peace. So this week, our series is going to be The Expression, and I always like to honor your time. So let's just go into our 2 meditations that we have this week. So our first meditation this week is to draw closer. And what do I mean by that? So a lot of times, in this season, like everything's very virtual, whether it's an IG live, whether it's a reel, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Zoom, whether it's online, in your online faith community. Well, our meditation today is draw closer, and when I think about that, it's like what draws you into someone, right? Like if you see someone who's like, they just really drew me in with their presence, or that art piece really drew me. That really drew me to that piece of art, or whatever, or music. That music really draws something out of me, and like. What does that look like for you? Like what draws you closer? And so that's a meditation I would really encourage you guys to think about. A lot of times I have young kids and they'll be like, oh, she dragged me, or all the things that the kids say. And it's like, but I would say that, we don't want to be dragged, we want to be led, right? And it's just like, what are the things that are going to lead you into a place of peace, right? What are the things that are going to lead you into a place of promise, like that are going to lead you where you can feel motivated to start this Monday morning, right? And so if you say, well, Camila, what is that for you? And I would say, what draws me is kindness. Like I always lead with, like for me, it's like, I lead with kindness all the time. Like I know when I need to show up. Like we talked about in our last meditation, I know when I need to roar and I know when I need to whimper. And listen, when I'm in the arena, I'm in the arena. Like it's time to go. But I always try to lead with kindness in whatever I do. So kindness really draws me, passion really draws me, and I feel like a self-awareness that we get to have as a community. Leaders really need to be self-aware, because a lot of times you're around a lot of yes people, and a lot of people that are telling you what you want to hear. But your self-awareness is going to tell you, like, this is where I stop, or this is where I'm going to use the B word, this is where I'm very vulnerable in this area. So if you know the areas where you don't feel strong in, you want to be careful, because if you have yes people around you, those people can kind of flatter you, right? Like flatter you to a way that will get you to change course. And flattery is great, like it's but when you know who you are and when you know what you're called to do, it doesn't matter if it's flattery or criticism, the course doesn't change, right? So if I'm walking a course and I'm building a brand, right, or I'm building a website, or I'm working on a project, what I know that I need to walk into to walk this out, and what I know the gifts inside of me that I'm called to do, no matter if I'm criticized on one end or if I'm flattered on another, either of those, like I have a filter where none of that changes like the course that I'm on, right? And so our first meditation again is like what draws you closer, and that being able to have that self-awareness that you're not being dragged, but you're being led, right? And so what are you being led by, and what are you choosing to be led by this week? Are you choosing to be led with kindness? Are you choosing to be led with promise? Are you choosing to be led with hope? Because all those things are important to you. And who are the people in your life that you will draw in? Who are the people in your life that you allow to draw closer to you? Because a lot of times we'll like push people out and have like these, you want to call them like boundaries, but like sometimes I know for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. A lot of times I self-protect, right? Because I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So like I can create these self-protective ways around me that keep people out. But there comes a point in your life where that can lead to a lot of isolation. So you want to really say who's in my inner court, right? Like who are those people that I'm allowing to draw closer to me that I can be the full expression of who I am, right? That I can share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that I can get what I need. I can get what I need from myself and my own self-awareness, and I can get what I need from that inner court and those people. So first meditation today is one, draw closer. What draws you? And just think about that as you continue in your day-to-day. And then our second meditation is above it all. And what do I mean by that? Is that we want to rise above it all, right? I had a friend in college who used to say, I'm not above that, I'm not below that, I'm just not about that. And what is she saying by that? She's like that, it's a way of saying like, I'm gonna stay on course, right? Like what the core of who I am and who I'm choosing to be, it doesn't make me above or below. It just makes me know like this is it. This is my course of action. This is who I am. in all aspects of my life. And that's what we're building here at our community at Mela Lifestyle, right? Like, we are creating a lifestyle community where who we are in the world and how we choose to navigate the world, when we come into our homes, we can still be the full expression of that too. Like, there's not a dichotomy, and there's not a tension between I'm this way when I'm at work. I'm this way, when I'm being social. I'm this way when I'm with my partner. I'm this way, because what happens is you have all these masks, and it's just really confusing. And not only is it confusing to the people around you, it's confusing to yourself, because then you don't really know who you are. And so our goal in ending out the year is really say this is who I am, this is what I stand on, this is what I allow to be drawn closer, this is what I allow to be drawn closer to me, and this is what draws me in the area of passion, in the area of kindness, in the area of intimacy. Like, what is that for you? And then the second meditation is above it all, that you're not going to be problem focused. Like, it's really easy, I think, in this season to be very problem focused on like what's wrong, what's not going right, what things could have been, what things should have been, what I missed out on in 2020, what this year was supposed to be. But I would encourage you that we're not going to be problem focused, but we're going to be presence focused. And what do I mean by that? I mean that as we draw closer to each other, right? Like, as we become more intimate with each other and share meditations, share vulnerable moments, share like who we are, then we're not so focused on the problems around us, but we're focused on the presence of what's in front of us, right? And so when I'm talking about presence, what do I mean by that? I could mean presence, like the presence of another person, like a physical presence of someone here with you. But I feel like even in this moment, like, right, there's like if I zoom in, and sometimes I like to say, if you can see the whites of my eyes, there's still a presence and there's still an interaction happening between us. And even though it's not a physical interaction, like I can't reach out and touch you, like you can't reach out and touch me, there's still something happening on a very spiritual level, right? There's still something happening that is still very intimate, right? And that's why Zoom and that's why FaceTime has become like so valuable right now, right? Because we still need that presence of another, and it doesn't always have to be physical. And really, it's like when we, going back to drawing closer and going back to self-awareness, when we are really clear about our own presence, like who, I always like to say, I'm very clear about what I bring to the table, right? Like when we're very clear about like our own presence and how we have peace and how we have like a stillness and where we draw that like out of our core, like where we draw that out of, then we can, that presence that we carry, that we can go into any atmosphere and it almost like bubbles over, right? It's kind of like, I know who I am, and in who I am, it exudes out. It's a full, like we talked about in this series this week, it's a full expression of everything that I am, right? Mentally, physically, spiritually, intimately, passionately, like all those things become expressions of me that I get to walk out and show in everything I do, whether it's in my creativity, whether it's in the words that I use, whether it's in the relationships that I have, like I'm living out, we're living out the full expression of who we are. And so when I say above it all, I'm saying above it all, this is how we're going to end the year, right? Like above everything that has happened this year, like you are still standing, and above all, everything that's happened this year, that you still have a hope and a sense of promise, and that you can draw closer to something that is so much bigger than you. And when you know who you are, that closeness and that intimacy is very powerful, right? It's full of so much. So what are our two meditations? Our two meditations are, one, draw closer. And this is our series. So we'll build on this all week, right? And so these are our Monday meditations in our series, The Expression. And so our first meditation is to draw closer, right? And that we're not going to be dragged, but we're going to be led in everything that we do, closing out the year and into 2021. Our second meditation is above it all, right? That we're not going to be problem focused, but we're going to be presence focused, and that we're going to be carried, and that I can I can encourage you that there are moments that you're not even aware of that someone was carrying you. There are moments that you know where you've carried someone else, and you've, what my mom used to say, you've stood in the gap for someone else. So we will be carried to the end of this year, right? Like we will be carried throughout our valleys. Like we will be carried throughout our mountains, and we will be carried to the end of this year, and there is still so much promise on the other side. And so I just want to thank you for joining me on the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Again, this is the start of our series, The Expression, what we're setting forth in words and what we're planting in seeds to go into 2021. And our 2 meditations for this Monday morning are draw closer, what draws you. I really want you to rest in that today, and above it all, because above it all, we will grow in wisdom and in promise. So ciao for now. Thanks for joining. Bye.